Ricky Jean-Francois. The Lions yesterday after the game, not happy with the effort. And let me tell you something. Being down in the bowels of Ford Field yesterday after the game, you know who took that game seriously?
Ricky Jean-Francois?
No, the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Oh, my, were they celebrating after the game.
Yeah, they could be heard through in the hallways. And
I don't know if you know the setup there for where they have the media ready to receive the coaches and the players when they want to come out and talk. Well, coach and players, Patricia and Stafford. It's now set up where there's this weird kind of walkway between the locker room and there's like this second level that you go up a couple steps to get to. I mean, there's a lot of cinder block walls in that area.
It's a weird catacomb.
It is a weird catacomb system they have there. And we're just waiting there for Patricia to come out, and it's a good 10 minutes after the game, and you hear Seattle just cheering and going nuts in their locker room, which is a good 100 feet away, and through a couple, like I said, thick cinder block walls. That celebration went on, I would say, for 5 minutes, which doesn't seem long until you're actually sitting there waiting for somebody to talk, and 5 minutes seems like an eternity. They were enjoying the hell out of beating the Lions. They viewed that game as a real important game, as they should, because it's week 7 of the season, week 8 for some teams. They needed that win. They got that win. They celebrated that win, and I think it speaks volumes as to how one team goes into the game with a mindset, and then you hear Ricky Jean-Francois talk about it afterwards, how the other team didn't.
248-539-9797. We'll get to your phone calls in a moment. Here's a Dave Burkett tweet I've been referencing. He writes, by my count, the Seahawks averaged 3.3 yards per carry, 83 yards on 26 attempts when Damon Harrison was in the game Sunday, and 5.6 yards per carry, 84 yards on 15 rushes when he was on the sidelines. Numbers do not include punter Michael Dixon's run. So it's more than 2 yards a carry less when Damon Harrison was on the field. He was fine. He provided some of what they needed, and we wondered how much of the run game issues he would solve. I mean, he was good. The run defense still was not very good.
No, it wasn't. And some of those numbers might be a little skewed at the end when Seattle's just trying to run it out. However, if he wasn't on the field, maybe those 1 yard gains turn into 6 yard gains. I mean,
I think it's interesting analysis either way, and I still think there's a chance that he can make even a greater impact, but it's pretty clear that that they have other issues, and that was bad. It was simply put bad. They got pushed around up front. Special teams are bad, but I think the number one reason they lost is Matthew Stafford's performance. 248-539-9797. Let's go to Doug in Ferndale. Hi, Doug.
How you doing?
Okay.
My comment isn't specific to this game, but it's more Stafford's attitude. The last game where we had all that great running effort, Stafford said the comment a couple times, a couple different ways, that he really enjoyed handing off the ball and then watching those guys do their thing. And I've never heard a quarterback say anything like that before, where he just lets go of the game and it's other people's problem.
What?
What do you mean?
Well, he basically saying during when Kerryon Johnson was having all those great runs during the previous game that it wasn't his game. He was giving the ball to the running back and the running back in the line, and everybody else was blocking downfield. And it appeared Stafford was saying he wasn't involved in that. That wasn't his team doing that work. I think it has something to do with his mindset.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
If you're being critical of Stafford for saying he likes watching the running backs make plays in the run game, I think this is absurd.
No, it's not that. It's the way he said it. It wasn't that he enjoyed watching the running backs run. It was he
Doug,
enjoyed.
You're trying too hard. It's real simple to rip Matt Stafford today. You're trying way too hard.
Well, I think it goes to where his head is. And I think that's the biggest problem.
All right. I mean, last week when they ran the ball and Stafford liked it.
So did everybody else who watched the game.
What a jerk. Let's go to Robert in Southfield. Hi, Robert.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Well, all right.
Great. Hey, look here. I wish I had $100, man. Hey, we see, I can't say more than that, less than that, because Stafford says this every time they lose. I got to do better. I got to do better. I'm so tired of hearing that line from him, man. It's just ridiculous. I got to do better. I mean, come on, we all know that, man.
Robert, what do you want him to say? I'm not being adversarial here. I'm just asking. What would you like him to say to make you feel better?
I know he's taking onus for the loss, but it's really not on him. But it is on him. But it ain't. It all fell apart when Abdullah fumbled the ball. It all fell apart. Then Russell Wilson he was back there doing his
all right.
thing.
So what do you, again, Robert, getting back to, what do you want Stafford to say after a game? What would make you feel better?
Anything else other than I got to do better.
He's boring after the game, Robert.
He's very boring after a game.
He is
particularly after a loss.
He's not going to stand up at the podium and inspire almost ever. There is a media presence that I really generally don't care about what guys say at podiums. It's far more important what he says in the locker room and what he says to his teammates. But here's the other thing. People grow tired of the same thing, honestly. Like, even if you're having success, people can grow tired of having the same guy say the same thing for years. He does have to do better, and I don't really have an issue with him saying it. If you want him to step up and do a Tim Tebow, I guarantee we're never going to lose. I mean, okay. It doesn't change the reality that he was not very good on Sunday. And if he can't inspire or instill confidence in his teammates in the locker room, then that's a problem. What he says at the podium to me is like, eh. But he does have to do better. That was bad. Let's go to Kerry on a cell. Hi, Kerry.
Hey, man. What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
All right.
All right, Kerry.
Good. Hey, the one thing I haven't heard, man, and I want to ask y'all a few questions, man, is what was the score before Matt Stafford had the 2 turnovers?
They were down 14.
They were 28-14.
Was it 28-14 before he had the 2 turnovers?
Yes.
Okay. Because the first thing that comes to my mind is 21-7. When T's Taborn and never lost and can't guard my grandma, and even if we would have scored, Seattle had already made up their mind, like Gator said, that, this game is, we just want to get up out of here. They can't mess with us. It was no blitzing scheme. The defense did a terrible job. If I'm going to chump somebody, I'm going to chump the whole defensive coach, staff, the players, the game plan, because it was terrible. It was no blitzing. It was they couldn't guard anybody. So even if we would have scored, it'd been a shootout that we wasn't going to win.
I got to tell you, Kerry, it felt like to me that on a couple of those touchdown plays, they actually were very well defended, but Russell Wilson's great, and the receivers made the better play. I think if it's a lesser team, those plays aren't made. But Seattle's got some playmakers, and they made the plays. But I thought they were pretty well defended.
The only person I've seen that had good coverage was Nevin Lawson. My man just snatched it right over his head. But T's Tabor got beat on 2 touchdowns just bad. He got beat bad. I don't know why he got out there, man. They just got to chop that up as a loss and move on because, he can't guard a fly.
He did not have a good game. Nope. I think you're right. You're spot on about that with T's Tabor. He did not have a very good football game.
The defense wasn't good. They got pushed around up front on both lines of scrimmage. And the Lions, there was one stat that I was like, you got to be kidding me. And it won't surprise anybody, but it speaks to what I think is overall incompetence. And I wonder if they're going to make some changes. We'll get to that today at 10:31.
Well, and he brought up the Abdullah play, the fumble. Or I don't know if it was him that brought up or previous caller that brought it up, but yeah, that's a monster play. When the score is tied at 7 and you're getting the kickoff back to answer that score and your kick returner fumbles the ball and gives them, down a distance, and 3 plays later they score a touchdown to go up 14-7. That's a turning point play. You can't have that. You can't have that. And here's a guy that's got a history of fumbling the football, and he's back there with opportunity after opportunity again. Now, given Jamal Agnew's hurt.
Remember last week when I said I'm really thinking we're going to start missing Jamal Agnew?
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking that, they finally activated my man Brandon Powell yesterday. Maybe it's time Brandon Powell is back there returning kicks.
Look, I know you love him. I'm not sure that he showed you anything yesterday that leads us to believe he's the answer, but if he's going to hang on to the football, that's a big part of it too. Get to more of your phone calls. Our Champ and Chump nominations at 1035 97.1.